I'm back. Hi, my name is Diane, and this is My Pink Bathtub Knits. Welcome. Welcome if you're new, and welcome if you are a returning subscriber. We're in a little bit of a different space today. This is actually my screen room, and we finally have gotten our act together to get it all cleaned up for summer use. We had to take off our poly that we used for around the screen and get out all the furniture and clean it up. So I'm happy to say we are finally here, and I'm a bit of a blanket girl, so we're gonna be in the blanket. I'm gonna show you some knitting. I'm going to talk a little bit about life later on in this episode, but I'll get straight to the knitting. And if you want to stick around and find out what's been going on with me during my absence, please feel free to do so. I am a maker who lives in Canada, in the middle of Canada, in the province of Manitoba. I've been knitting for over 15 years. I retired just within the last year. It's actually going to be a year anniversary at the end of this month, and this year has just flown by. And there's a lot of big bugs out there, and I keep looking at, hoping they're on the other side of the screen. I have a weird phobia about wasps. I've never been stung by a wasp, and I do not plan to anytime soon. Anyway, where was I? I decided to start a channel because I'm a real homebody, and I thought it'd be a good creative outlet for my knitting. I've met some incredible people along the way, and in 2024 I've been a little sporadic with my videos because of my life update that I'm going to talk about later on in this episode. But I am back now, and I want to hopefully do a weekly video on Wednesdays again as my drop day. So if you're interested, please subscribe and please hit the notification bell for any new updates. Now, June is halfway done, and I am going to be doing Christmas in July. And because I missed my 1-year podiversary, I'm planning to do a giveaway at the end of July. It's going to be involving you watching my episodes, which will be every second day in the month of July, and leaving comments, and one lucky winner is going to receive a little advent curated by myself. It's going to be a 12-day advent. It's going to be wool, minis of hand-dyed yarn. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you to check out my Christmas in July episodes that are going to be coming up shortly. What have I been making? Well, I have to tell you, I've had kind of hills and valleys when it comes to my knitting this year. A lot of things were taking me away from doing it and really taking it seriously, but the months are clicking away and just flying by, and now I am really in it in the market mode. Over the last 2 days, I have sewn on 122 buttons on my mittens. Yes, I counted them. Those 16 pairs or 15 and almost 16 pairs of mittens that I was knitting on my whip episode a few episodes back, well, they have turned into, I think, 27 pairs of mittens that are not done. And by golly, I'm getting them done this week. That is my goal. Most of them have their eyes sewn on, their button eyes, and I just have to finish them up. I've got a couple pairs to show you, but I'm just really motivated to get this done now. I really have to be in the mood to knit buttons on things or sew buttons on, and I'm never in that mood. So I've just thought, you got to get this done. You got to get this done. You got to get this stuff tagged and put away for your markets. You need to get on with things. And there's other things I want to share with you. So this episode is things I've been making while you weren't watching. And the photo that is on I'm going to start with this because I am in love with him and his wheelbarrow. First of all, this wheelbarrow, Cubs picked it up for me at like Dollarama, which is a dollar store locally. It's not the best made. It's a little dented. There we go. but super cute, and I thought this would be a great prop for my markets. And my little friend fits into it perfectly. Now this bear is a pattern from Claire Garland, also known as Dots Pebbles. And if you cannot guess who he is, he looks a lot like Winnie the Pooh. And I received the pattern for this bear in my email in April. She has freebies that she sends out, I think, every second month. I don't know if it's every month, but I am subscribed to her newsletter. I'll leave the link below on how you can get subscribed to her as well. And this little cutie was a free pattern that was in my inbox. When I saw him, I had to make him. He is just adorable. Now, he doesn't really look exactly like the photo from the pattern, and I'll explain why. I did make a few little mistakes on this guy because I have been so used to just knitting things without patterns for months, and not that he's not challenging. He does have to be seamed up though, and I made a few boo-boos on that, and then I kind of overstuffed him. I made him a little plumper, but I like him overstuffed. This was made with Patton's Classic Merino wool that I received in my Cambridge Fibers Limited Advent holiday box last December. And the two colors were in the box, and they were like totally perfect. Like they were speaking Winnie the Pooh big time to me. And Winnie the Pooh, I don't know if you know this story, I think I mentioned it before, is actually, Winnie is named after the city of Winnipeg, which is where I live, just outside of that city. And it was a true story based on a Canadian soldier who was from Winnipeg who had adopted this bear. So you knit up parts and then you sew the seams together. I did the head, I think, fairly well. Places where you have to pick up stitches around the neckline of the head, and then you sew up the seams, you stuff them, put on the arms and legs, Bob's your uncle. I clearly did not read the instructions correctly. First of all, I do not really like picking up stitches. I'm not a fan of it. I had to renew the skill by looking at some YouTube videos that did make it a little bit easier. And it said to pick it up on the one side and then to sew the flap from the back and the front together to create the body. Well, I was doing it, I thought I was like just rocking this. And then I realized that after I did it that I picked up the wrong side of the head. And I was wondering why it looked really weird. But I didn't read the instructions correctly. It's like over 20 pages of instructions to make this little guy. If you have the time to do it, I would highly recommend any of her toys. This is actually the first toy of hers that I have made, but I really like him. His name is Honey Bear, the pattern, and I will link it below, but I particularly love his little wheelbarrow. This obviously doesn't turn, but who cares? What a great prop on a market table. Dollarama, and probably any other dollar store. I think Kim showed this on her channel, but hers was a nicer wheelbarrow from Target in the States. So when I saw this, I had to get it. I also have been, besides all those mittens and all those buttons I've been doing, and let me show you just a couple pairs that I have finished completely. Most of them are done, like the cat mittens are pretty much done. I just have to put on the whiskers and the little tufts in the ears, but I'm not going to show you them. I'll show you them another time. So I made 2 pairs of these pig mittens. Now the pattern itself for all of my adult mittens that have this cable are the Bella's Mittens pattern from the movie The Twilight, or Twilight, I guess, not The Twilight. And I just shortened it. I started on row 24. It's a free pattern. I'll link it below. And then I just create animals out of them by making different faces on them. So these are the pigs. I had 2 pairs of those done. I'm really working on the yarn in my collection. that is discontinued and trying to clean out a lot of stuff. The other ones I did, and now this one was made from Color Made Easy yarn. It's a very thick 5-weight yarn, 100% acrylic. Discontinued. And then I made 2 of these guys. These are doggies. And these ones are made with, gonna get this wrong again, Charisma. I'm gonna link it below. I don't remember. So those are the 4 out of the 20 plus mittens that I have to finish done. Then the other things I've been making for my markets, and I've been really into them, is the pattern from Susan Claudino, Happy Scrappy Teddy Bear. Now the last time I showed you them, I had made 2 and I just cast on my 3rd one. My very first one, I didn't have any safety eyes, was this guy, and I essentially just followed the pattern to the T. And so I just put on buttons on this guy because I didn't have any. Then the second one, I decided I was going to try to do different ears, and I had smaller safety eyes, so I kind of changed him up. Didn't like the ears, so I've revamped him and took the safety eyes out and put buttons on him as well and moved his ears up. So these are the 2 you essentially saw before. And then I just couldn't stop making them. I made a purple one. Now these are made with 3 strands of yarn held together. I have my Tangled Poets minis. They're micro minis. I think they're 5 grams. I use 5 of them from Aberdeen's Wool, from the pickle jar. So I use 5 minis. I use baby yarn. I've been using the Mary Maxim Twinkle baby yarn, which is a 1-weight. And I've been using mohair. So those 3 colors together are combined, and they're creating some really nice looking different bears. So I've got a purple one. This is number 3. I've got this cute pink one, and they're all like fuzzy. I'm not sure if it's getting captured very well. That's my hair. Not sure how well it's getting captured on screen. A pink one. I made this yellow one. I can't stop making them. I'm getting, not that I'm at the point where I can make them without looking at the pattern. It wasn't like the Honey Bear Winnie the Pooh pattern where it was like a lot of reading and figuring out. But I'm proficient enough that I've got a system in place now when I make them. So this yellow one I really like. He is cute. There's more. Here's another blue one, kind of a blue-purple combination. And so I did get these larger eyes on Amazon. I really do like the safety eyes with them. Excuse me if you hear any birdies or someone's cutting their grass. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it with the microphone on, but nature. And then finally this one, which is kind of a, I mean, look at the color combo. Just beautiful. So yeah, I've got 8 of them right now. I have another one kind of cast on. But I'm really determined to get my mittens done because I want to get them tagged and put away, and then I'm going to do a mitten count. I mean, I'll have, I don't know, 70 pairs of mittens maybe made for my markets, and then I'm going to go back to toddler mittens because those are the ones that really sell. For those of you that are new, I live on a small acreage and we have foxes on our property. Now, I was quite concerned that I wasn't going to see the foxes, and we did hear one screeching like, oh gosh, weeks ago, maybe almost a month ago, running around our property at night screeching. I mean, it scared the bejesus out of me, I have to tell you. I'd never heard that kind of a cry, or I don't know what it's called. It sounded like a cat in heat, but worse. Anyway, it was like the male running around looking for a girlfriend. And then I never saw anything again, and I was really bummed out about it. I mean, usually by now they would set off our outdoor cameras at night, and we'd see them walking around, which is always exciting. I would see them at dawn or dusk, and nothing. Now, our backyard is very, very well treed, and they were usually living at the back end of our property, but nothing. And then the other day, this is in the middle of the day, I walk into the kitchen, I look out our kitchen, which overlooks our backyard, and I see a fox just sitting at the back in the tree line. Now, it's so far back, my camera won't pick it up well, but I mean, this told me I have to knit a fox stole. So I knit one. Like, it takes me kind of 2 days to do it. It's all garter stitch, it's relatively easy. Now I'm gonna take off my microphone for a minute and try it on and show you what it looks like. So essentially it goes around your neck. There's a loop behind the head. I kind of put it on backwards, but you get the idea. And it is adjustable, so it can fit a child to an adult. This one was made with Heartland yarn. So I was incredibly excited that I saw a fox again. I thought, this is great, like they're back. No babies, just the fox. A couple days go by, I made this, couple days go by, and again, middle of the day. And this is not normal. Like, normally they don't come around until the evening or early morning. I saw the mother with two of her young, just walking around our backyard very casually. So I thought, this is telling me I have to cast on another fox stole. So I did. I'm starting another one, and this one is in a gray color, and this is also Heartland yarn. Now, this is my own pattern. I do have it on Ravelry. I'll link it below. If you're interested in doing it, it's a great make for markets. People really seem to like them. I make them for a few years and then I don't make them for a while, kind of on and off. But yeah, I just feel compelled to have a few on my table again this year. I'm really glad they're back. I was quite bummed that I didn't see them because they are a bit of a highlight of my summer. The other things we've been doing around here is I've been doing some work in the front yard. We've been trimming trees, and I've only planted half of my garden. But I do have potatoes coming up, and we do have our onions coming up, but I have not planted anything else. I think we're just gonna go to the nursery and maybe get some starter plants, like some peppers and a few things. So nothing from seed at this point. I did get some happy mail, and I have one other cast on to show you, and then we'll talk about life. So I've never ever had Malabrigo yarn. Everybody talks about it. I've mentioned it, I think, a few times. Well, I went to the mailbox, this is weeks ago now, and I had 2 hanks of Malabrigo in my mailbox. Just random. Now, a lot of people don't know my address. I do not have a P.O. box, so you would have to reach out and ask me for my address, and there would be a screening process involved. Not a screening process, but I'm just not gonna like throw it on YouTube for people type thing. So there's a handful of people that have my address. So it was from someone I knew, and the person's name is Dawn from Yarn is a Sport, and she just randomly sent me these 2 hanks of yarn with no note, nothing. And I think she sent it the day before she went to Europe. She's currently away on business. So thank you, Dawn, so much. And of course it's sock weight, which Quite often I see like the heavier weight Malabrigo in places, and this is the ultimate sock yarn. And this is the colors, and yes, it's pink, and yes, there's purple in it, but it's got speckles and it's Malabrigo, and I like it. So these are the two hanks that she sent me, and thank you so much. This is made in Peru. It is fingering weight yarn, 420 yards, 100 grams. 75% merino superwash and 25% nylon, and it is called their ultimate sock. Thank you. I just love it. And you know, I have to find like the perfect summer tee kind of top, because I have a lot of two hanks of fingering weight, and I definitely want to make myself some garments with it. So it's just gorgeous. Thank you so much, Dawn. I really appreciate it. The last thing I think I have to share with you, I didn't want to show you like 25 pairs of mittens that were kind of done, so is this is the yarn that I over dyed with coffee a few weeks back, and I knew exactly what I wanted to make with it. I wanted to make something out of this book, Moosh and Friends. And then I realized it was a DK weight. Didn't really look at the label that clearly, but that's okay. I'm still gonna make it. I just upped the needle size. Now I am making, and I've kind of started it on my needles, but I haven't really gotten very far with it. The pattern calls for a, talk amongst yourselves, 2mm needle, but because it's DK, I am upping it to a 2.75. I'm using my collage square needles. I love knitting with double pointed needles, and I am doing this gal, Hazel the squirrel. You need a little bit for the snout and for the arms and the legs, so I'm using this United Socks yarn. Yes, this is fingering weight, and this is DK, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Because it's just for this part here, and it looks fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I looked at all my fingering weight yarn and stuff, and I just felt like this was the nicest combination for the snout. And then for the dress, and let me find the other photos of her. She wears this really cute dress. Now this has got color work in it where it's two colors combined, and I'm gonna do this Croix sock yarn. I've been told by some people that even though it's a fingering weight, it's a very thick fingering weight. So I thought that it would look really nice together. So that's something else that I have on the go. I may not come to her for a while just because I want to get my market knitting a little more under control, and I feel like I'm almost there. So that is very exciting. And this is a portion of the show which is going to be the life update. So if you don't want to hear about that, have a great day. If you want to continue on, grab something to knit and crochet on and sit back and relax, and I will fill you in on everything that is going on. So if you followed my channel for any period of time, I've alluded to some family stuff going on. And my mother-in-law has been ill. She was diagnosed with cancer in January, but she had symptoms several months before that, and was essentially housebound due to her symptoms, and was in palliative care for 5 weeks. Well, she passed away on May the 28th, which would have been her 64th wedding anniversary. So she got to go and see Dad again, which was a good thing. And she was no longer suffering. Unfortunately, it was also Hubs's birthday, but he has thought it's a special day. He was born on their anniversary, and she's going back to see Dad, and we're just really thankful that she is no longer suffering, because cancer is, it sucks. It sucks. It's just terrible. So we've been dealing with, because she was the last of the parents to go, dealing with her apartment. We were there today cleaning out quite a bit of stuff and organizing. It feels just really overwhelming having to go through a person's life. And we've got her apartment until the end of June. We're getting there. We're getting there. We've got a large donation that we want to make for furniture. We met a lovely couple of ladies today that are going to come and clean the house for us, and they are from the Ukraine. And we asked them if there was anything that they wanted. The family had gone through everything already. We were at the process of packing things up. So they did take some stuff, and we were so grateful and thankful that we were able to donate stuff to them. And they were so grateful and thankful. And I'm so glad we met them, because it's one less thing for us to do, is to clean her apartment. We're having her life celebration in 2 weeks, or I guess a week and a half. And yeah, she was like a mother to me. Like I was kind of mourning her the day she went into the hospital, to be honest, because her health had really been declining rapidly. And really, kind of my job since retirement was to kind of, well, in my mind, take her out and do things, take her grocery shopping. We did that every week, like for the last year, since I was no longer working, just doing extra things for her. And then, you know, those jobs and errands kind of got heavier with her health. So, I mean, everybody goes through this. I'm no more special than anyone else, but that's what's been going on in my life. And I honestly haven't really been feeling like doing videos lately. I've been very sporadic. It's been hard to keep up and to think of new and interesting things to do. I was being way too hard on myself, giving myself a very hard time because of it. And so I've taken a break to be with family. We are on track. I'm looking forward to having a little bit of normalcy in my life. That like yesterday I made dinner. Like I made a normal dinner. And we've been like eating out a lot, eating out on the run, like just eating, not taking care of ourselves in a lot of ways, just because of convenience. So things are going to get back to normal. Like we've brought a lot of stuff to our house that we have to go through and organize and find places for. Hubs had brought his dad's chair, so we had to rearrange the furniture in the living room to kind of fit it in. So we're going to move some art around. We're just kind of cleaning up around here. So I'm okay. And thanks for your patience. It is what it is. So one last thing I want to share with you that I found at Mom's house that I took. Nobody wanted it. Is this pink, or this pink? It's going to be maybe pink. I think I might spray paint it pink, but it's this gold bathtub. Like, can you believe this? This gold bathtub. I didn't really notice it before. It was in one of her bathrooms. So again, a great prop for my markets. I have a can of pink spray paint. And it's funny because, you know, if there's three, she had 3 sons. Hubs has 2 brothers. So if only one couple was there doing work or packing or cleaning, and we'd see something we'd like, we would just have a group text and say, hey, does anybody want this? Well, of course I group texted this out, and everyone's like, no, you're good. You got this, and you should paint that pink. So, you know, maybe I'll paint it pink, or maybe I'll keep it gold. But that's a bit of a memory that I'll always have of Mom. She was my first subscriber. And in the early days, like last year when I first started my videos, she would always comment like she was a stranger, which I found hilarious. The comment she made is really funny. Sometimes she would comment twice on a video. So yeah, Mom, we're gonna miss you, but we're so happy that you're with Dad and that you're at peace. So thank you so much for listening to me and for looking at my makes. My next episode is going to be about Quebec yarn. I only have 3 different companies to share with you, so it'll probably be a bit of a shorter episode, but watch for that on Wednesdays because I'm going to get back to my regular scheduled programs, which is Wednesdays. And in July, I am doing Christmas in July, and I have a gift swap, a yarn swap with my friend Kathy at Yarn with Heart. And her and I have lovingly prepared a little exchange, and we have packaged them all up in Christmas paper for us to open. So there's 12 days, so I'm going to do it every second day in July. I'm also going to do some Christmas makes, some knitting makes. I want to try and make a Santa Claus mitten for toddlers. I have a kind of an idea. I'm going to see how that goes. I have another little make to do, and I think I'm just going to do some more mittens and things like that. I'll show you the yard a little bit more. I don't know, maybe we'll do, I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll figure it out. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well. I've missed you all, and bye for now.